Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar on the Personnel Management Kiosks. My name is Melissa Harward and I am the Marketing Coordinator for Meridian Kiosks. Also on the panel this afternoon, I have Dominic Adebil, our Industrial Designer, and Paul Burden, our Director of Software. We're going to start off with a very brief overview of the solution itself, and then we'll jump into question and answer session. So if you have any questions already in mind or any questions that come out throughout the presentation, feel free to submit those and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. So to start off, just a little bit about Meridian. Meridian is a fully integrated manufacturer of indoor and outdoor kiosks, interactive digital signage, and self-service software. We develop all of our products and services under one roof at our Aberdeen, North Carolina facility, which provides us greater efficiency and lean, high-quality results. So everything is done in-house, from engineering to manufacturing, hardware and software integration. We have a full-scale production facility on a 13-acre manufacturing campus, a full metal fabrication facility, and we are ISO 9001:2015 certified, a UL self-service facility, and then experts in ADA, FCC, and HIPAA compliance. All of our hardware is manufactured in our Aberdeen location, and then all of our software development takes place in our Mississauga, Ontario, Canada office. That's where Paul and his software team sit. So diving into the hardware for the Personnel Management Kiosk, the kiosk itself is designed to protect the health and safety of employees and your guests by helping to prevent anyone with an elevated temperature or those without access from entering a facility. Some of the features of the unit include temperature verification, facial identification, temperature threshold alarms, and the unit is available in an anodized aluminum finish, in pedestal and soon to be countertop configurations. So the first configuration that you see on your screen is the pedestal configuration. So the pedestal on the left is what the unit comes standard looking like. So it is a two-sided unit. So the side that you see now is rounded and the other side is a flat-sided unit. The head unit is on a swivel, so you can turn whichever side you prefer to face the outside. The rendering on the right depicts a unit with graphics on it. So these graphic templates are available to download and customize with your own branding on our website. And if graphics are something that you're interested in, our team can help point you in the right direction for some of our graphics partners that we work with to help you customize your units further. This is the countertop option as well. Similar to the pedestal option, it has a rounded and a flat side that you can choose your preference, and graphics are available as well. This option is currently not available, but will be available very soon, and will also include a battery option as well. Diving into the software aspect of the solution, so each personnel management comes equipped right out of the box with a custom-built board-level software solution already integrated. Some of the features of those solutions include LAN or Wi-Fi connectivity, FCC and CE certification, a 0.9 degree Fahrenheit temperature variance, and the ability to recognize up to 30,000 faces with voice prompts. So the picture on the left is the temperature detection settings that you can view on the unit itself. Some of those features include a body temperature test, which allows you to select the ability to have that test turn on or off. Compensation temperature calibration, which offsets the red temperature and allows you to calibrate the unit to account for environmental changes. An alarm threshold, which is the value at which the alarm is triggered, and this can be displayed in degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit. A body temperature alarm that dictates whether or not an alarm will sound when a user passes or fails the temperature detection. Mask detection, which turns on or off the mask detection feature. If the mask detection feature is on, it suggests that visitors or employees make sure to put on a mask before entering the facility, even after they pass the temperature test. And then stranger mode. When stranger mode is off, strangers are denied access to the building. Alternatively, when stranger mode is on, strangers are allowed to enter the facility whether or not they are employees. Another example of what the interface looks like. So on the left, this is an example. These are a few of our employees that you'll see. You'll see their name, their type, which is staff, an expiration date, which indicates forever as they are permanent staff members, and then their pictures. Employees or other approved visitors are able to be easily added to the FACE database on the kiosk in just a matter of seconds. Some of those informational fields include their name, their type, so for example, like I mentioned, staff, visitor, etc., an expiration date, and then a picture. We found that this takes about 10 seconds to upload each individual, sometimes a little bit less than that. So it's very efficient, and it can all be done with the Bluetooth keyboard and mouse combination that comes included with the kiosk. The final aspect of the software is M0 Manage. So M0 Manage will be available for the Personnel Management Kiosk sometime in June. This particular software solution is one that Meridian has had for a number of years, but it's currently with our software development team being adapted specifically for the Personnel Management Kiosk. So a little bit about M0 Manage. It's designed to allow you to monitor multiple kiosks at once in remote locations. Some of the features of M0 Manage will include the ability to add and edit a list of employees, import a list of employees, utilize the REST interface, and pull reports on the classic M0 Manage user interface. So the image that you see on the right-hand side of your screen is an example of what that back end of M0 Manage looks like, with the ability to pull reports on either one of your kiosks, or if you have multiple deployed, they can all be managed from one central location. That is the end of the overview of the solution. So if anyone has any specific questions, please submit those now, and we will start going through them and answering them. The first question asks, would you need more than one copy of M0 Manage if you have multiple kiosks?
Yeah, so they're a kiosk by kiosk subscription, so you need one for each kiosk, and they're $295 per year. If you have larger volumes, they're a discount.
Next question asks, can you currently send text or email alert messages?
Not currently, but once M0 Manage is available, there'll be an email and an SMS notification. Also, we're thinking about adding notifications in the dashboard so you can get a notification in your browser.
Next question asks about SOC1, SOC2 compliance.
M0 Manage, yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, there's a little bit more to the question. Does it mean that the end user would be required to purchase M0 Manage in order to remain in compliance?
Okay, so the client's SOC 1 and 2 compliance is their own domain. So if you need to maintain or have SOC 2 compliance, you need to work with the governing organization that issues those compliance certifications. That Meridian's not involved in that. But what Meridian does is we sell a unit, the PMK unit, and then we also sell M0 Manage software. So you might bring that PMK unit into your facility. That would be part of your facility's compliance considerations. And for Meridian side, we have an SOC1, SOC2 certified data center where we have our SaaS offering. And when you connect to our services, it's in that facility, that data center is SOC1, SOC2 certified. And it basically extends around that facility only. So you have to take care of your own compliance. We'll take care of ours in our hosting center. I hope that makes sense.
Next question asks, will this product reach the 510K compliance?
I'm not familiar with 510K compliance, but I could look that up and get back to you. Maybe we could record the email address so we can return the question after.
Okay. Next question asks, does the software include MOQ free messaging and prompts?
MOQ
100 free messaging and prompts.
Also, I'm not familiar with MOQ minimum quantity order. Minimum order quantity 100. Yes. Okay. I think I understand the question now. It's so you can customize prompts and the language. So there's voice prompts when you walk up to the unit and messages that appear on the screen. There's some flexibility. If you have an order with us with the quantity of 100, we will customize that for you as part of that order, complimentary. It may be possible soon if you have a lesser quantity, we can perhaps quote you that effort as a sort of an R&D effort. We have to build a customized version of the app for you in your language. So that's the answer there.
Next question asks, can you download data from the device over Wi-Fi?
So the only thing you can do with the device on Wi-Fi is when you have an M0 managed subscription, it would upload the information to our subscription.
Eric 122, please. Eric 122, please.
If you have the unit as a standalone unit, the only thing you can do is come up to the device with a USB to compact flash card, plug it into the device, and hit the export on the entry data. That would copy the entry data to the drive. So that's the standalone configuration.
Next question asks, with M0 Manage, can we program a user in one kiosk and then replicate their profile to a set of other kiosks?
So when you have M0 Manage is in control. So you will have the database, you log in with your browser and you edit the data there. You upload a photo, enter the name, the employee number, and then hit save. When you hit save, it's going to send it out to your kiosk network. So all the kiosks will be synchronized with that centralized database.
The next question asks, does this device date and stamp each time a person enters and or when they depart?
It date stamps when somebody presents their face to the kiosk. So regardless if you're a stranger or a person that's an employee, if you've been logged, it will log the time of the occurrence and there'll be a report. So it's up to the user to scan. So if they're scanning on exiting and entering, then yes.
The next question asks, what is the lead time for distribution channels? We're currently saying a 4 to 6 week lead time. Next question asks, can you add questions to the screen relating to COVID-19 exposure?
Yeah, this is a frequently asked question. We are definitely going to have that in our Windows offering. It has a touchscreen and the potential to take questions by voice, so an answer, voice prompt, and voice recognition are possible. That'd be in English only though. But more things like that are going to be possible once the Windows version is released, which is in sometime near the end of summer.
Next question asks, can it be mounted on a wall? The answer to that is yes. We have not yet released the wall-mounted unit, but that is an option that will be available. Dominic, I don't know if you wanted to chime in on that one.
Yeah, it should be a pretty simple install. We have a bracket that you can mount to a wall and then mount the tablet to that bracket.
Next question asks, does this measure surface temperature? How different is surface from core temperature?
Well, it's going to measure the face. So when you present the face, it's going to measure the hottest point on the face presented. So I don't think it can get into your core and measure your core temperature. So it's probably going to be what is externally facing, probably from the inner part of your eyeballs or something that whatever the hottest point is on your face, it would use that as the temperature point. So.
Next question asks, is REST interface available locally?
No, that'll be a service we provide with M0 managed subscribers.
Next question asks, can the relays be used to trigger a light or notification for temperature notifications?
I know we have a version of the unit with a light, the LED light, and that triggers green when somebody enters, but otherwise it's white. So you can to some extent use that same capability in your facility, but that doesn't trigger for like denied access though. It's only for when access is granted. I hope that answers the question. Go ahead.
Next question asks, if facial recognition is not being used, will it log a picture in addition to the time entry and temperature?
It does, yeah, it will. We're working on a change to make it so that it doesn't log the photo. So that's going to be coming soon, but I don't have a firm date on when that's available.
Next question asks, are you able to connect into other solutions like ProxyClick or other guest software solutions?
So there's a couple of interface possibilities. It directly, physically from the device, there's outputs for Wigand and card readers. And the other option for integration is M0 manages central REST database, which is a cloud-based API. You'll be able to manage your data, access the scan records, and other information through an API. So, for instance, you can add and remove employees and photos through that interface. So you can interconnect the software through those two mechanisms, the physical local Wigand interface, which is used for security, badge access, and through the central M0 managed web.
Next question asks, what kinds of reports are available?
We're going to have entry records, so you'll be able to see when everyone entered for all your kiosks. The records will be aggregated into one report. You'll also be able to see the startup times of your kiosk. So when they boot up, they will start a session and you can see if they're connected or not. There's an alert if the kiosk becomes disconnected. So you'll be able to pull alarm history to see when alarms were raised or current alarms that are raised and any conditions of the kiosk. You'll also be able to see an audit trail of things that occurred on the kiosk. So if I make a change on the kiosk's database, add a new employee, it will log that event, who made the change. The units will receive that change and report back that Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3 made the change, and then that would be added to the audit log. So that's what will be available in the first release. And then we plan on having a variety of little dashboard widgets that will give some visualizations to that data very shortly after the first release.
Next question asks, is Polish one of the currently supported languages? I looked that up and that is one. So the kiosk supports 16 languages and Polish is included. Next question asks, is the webinar being recorded? The webinar is being recorded and will be shared with you 2 hours after the webinar. Next question asks, can school systems use this device to help take attendance?
You could, because if you have the student's face in the employee database, so in that case they'd be students, it could recognize each student. So you could take an inventory of who checked in by pulling a report and see who's missing, who's there. We hope to have an attendance module coming as well. So what the attendance module will do is it will expect employees to check in daily, and when they don't, it'll produce a report of those who didn't check in, and they'll have different schedules and vacation days, but that's going to take that's further out. So you'll have, in the first release, you'll have some capability to do that, but the attendance module that we'll add a bit further down the road will help you with this attendance, time and attendance.
Next question asks, is REST interface data real time?
Practically real time. There's a slight delay because the units connect directly to our servers with WebSockets, and that's a persistent connection. So whenever an event occurs, the message is sent directly in real time. Our server writes the event to a log. If you pull the REST interface right at that moment, depends how frequently you're querying it, but I wouldn't suggest you keep polling it every minute for changes, but as long as you reasonably connect at an interval, you'll get pretty real-time information from the database. So
the next question asks, can the relay be used to trigger other devices?
Yeah, so it's a dry contact loop. What that means is you can introduce a voltage. So let's say 5 volts or 12 volts DC. You could connect that to some other device. So it could be a door lock. It could be an access gate. It could be anything that really has a dry contact input. And the voltage that you introduce into that will, when the scan is successful, it will close the circuit and the voltage will pass through the loop, and it can trigger whatever device, and then it will open a few seconds later and the voltage will stop. And so that's how you trigger doors and gates and things like that. So anything that has that dry contact loop, and you can send a high or low voltage into to trigger an event, can be interfaced with, yes.
Next question asks, can you confirm the release date of M0 Manage for the PMK?
That was originally this week, but we're pushing it a bit, unfortunately. It will be early summer, we're saying, but I hope to get it out as soon as possible. We'll do everything possible to get it out as soon as possible.
Next question asks, what third-party verification is public for viewing?
Third-party verifications, I think we have FCC and CA verifications on the unit.
That's correct.
And is that? And,
CE, yes.
CE, yeah, sorry, CE.
Mm-hmm. Next question asks, can you configure dry contact relay time?
There's 3 modes. I think the details are published on our FAQ, but it's basically 3 seconds. It'll close for 3 seconds and then open. There's 2 other modes where it flips it into a sort of a normally closed, and it will open for 3 seconds and close. So it reverses the polarity or reverses the logic of it. And then there's another pattern that can be used as well. I forget that offhand.
All right, and that is our last question for the day. So like I mentioned earlier, this webinar was recorded. A copy will be sent out to all attendees 2 hours following the conclusion of the webinar. If you have any additional questions that didn't come to mind during the webinar or that come up later in the day, always feel free to email sales@m0.com and we will be sure to get an answer back to you as quickly as possible. Thank you all for attending, and thank you, Meridian panel, for being here as well.